about politics going forward in the future. I just came off a few couple days ago. There was an article in the CBC about black and minorities in Canada that were being profiled and by police, and also white Canadian citizens that would accuse them of crimes, punish them of crimes in the same breath before they even were. Well, they all were eventually found innocent in the cases presented in the article. And it was a chat group online, and I have some relatives in Canada where this was all going down. And it was news to me, so I got involved in the chat. My sister-in-law was in the chat as well. It lives in Canada, and there's a white man that comes in. His name is Greg. Profile picture shows a white guy with gray hair, older white guy. Don't know anything about this individual, but he came in the chat discussion to say that what the article was saying wasn't true, and these things were not happening in the Canada that he knew, and Canada was a great country. From his perspective, Canada was a great country. So I commented on this guy, and it threw me off, and we were mid-conversation, we were talking about, it's one of those things where you come together to talk about solutions for what to do for this. I don't live in Canada, and the joke with me is I tell my family that live in Canada that after 2020, after the Trump presidency, and after George Floyd and all the things that we go through in America, I always tell them, the minute stuff hits the fan, I'm going right up to you guys. I'm going right up to Canada. So to see this and to discuss this with people I know on my own Facebook page, my own social media circle, was comforting to me, as well as we're talking about how is this happening and solutions and stuff like that. And there's this white guy comes into the chat, claims to be an expert on these issues, but he's there to counter protest the factual evidence of this CBC article, and that's Canadian Broadcast Corporation, is the news. Is there a New York Times in Canada? So he's there to counteract this thing, and I told him, I was like, Greg, whenever I look at a white man telling me that his country on this side of the hemisphere is the greatest country of the world, his country is so great, his country is so good, there's nothing wrong with his country. When a white male tells me that, an older white male that's established, obviously, he's doing okay for himself. When a white man tells me that, or tells society that, I look at you as a rapist telling me that he has a lot of sex and the women love to have sex with him. That's how I look at it, right? Because from his perspective, he's only seen a slice of the reality of that country. He's not seeing what other people go through. And then he continues to, he has a strong point against his argument that he swears this is not happening. And I was like, Greg, I don't like broccoli, but if there's a chat group that's discussing broccoli, the health benefits of broccoli. I've never liked broccoli as a kid. It's gross to me, right? I don't know anything about broccoli. I don't study broccoli. I don't like it, so I have no need to study it, right? If broccoli didn't exist at all, I'll be a happier person. So I said, Greg, listen to this. If there's a broccoli chat group that's going on right now with people that grow broccoli, people that love to eat broccoli, and they're talking the great things about broccoli, what you're doing in this chat room is like literally like me wasting my entire day, right, in this chat room, telling each and every one of those people that broccoli is gross. I don't like broccoli. It tastes nasty. It has a weird texture. I don't like broccoli. Broccoli's nasty. What would be the point of me doing that to this chat group of people that love broccoli? Do they want to hear my opinions on broccoli? No, because they're there because they have a purpose of being there. And I find the point here is that 2020 has, with the BLM, the growth that movement has achieved in 2020, and not by any right of their own, right? BLM before George Floyd, before Breonna Taylor, BLM was quiet, was a flame that was flickering away, right? Colin Kaepernick took the knee, and he got outcasted for a couple of years. I mean, we haven't seen him in anything for a long time because he took a knee a couple of years ago in support of BLM. But this year, BLM was quiet. BLM promoters weren't saying anything in 2020 when coronavirus started up. But the minute George Floyd got killed, murdered by the officer, BLM came back. Think about that. To say what we all saw was wrong and we wanted justice for George Floyd. That was the whole point of BLM last summer, right? Like them or not, BLM had a purpose They had a reason for protesting, right? Had nothing to do with anything else but what we saw. It had nothing to do with white lives or police lives. It had to do with what we saw on that cell phone camera. It's why BLM grew from June 2nd, from whenever the incident happened, and it went worldwide, right? Coming from a diverse background, I have family all over the planet. And I've saw pictures on my social media feeds of all over the planet, people BLM marching, BLM protests, Australia, Canada, Asia, right? So BLM grew. But in the United States, I'm not sure other parts of the world, there was this counter-protest, sharp counter-protest against BLM, where people that, now we know who they are, the Blue Lives Matter people, the All Lives Matter people, white nationalists, Nazis, fascists, people on the right, all came together in this big group. They did not like what they saw, basically, and that's a fact, right? They did not like what they saw outside the window. They did not like seeing black people coming together with non-black people for the first time in a BLM movement, and a diverse group of young, powerful, intelligent people with a voice that vote, marching in front of their window. They did not like that. So that's how this counter-protest thing starts. And now I see it every day on social media when I'm there, and Twitter, right? If I have a stance in something, you only exist because you don't like my stance, right? You have no point, no reason to protest or counter-protest other than what I'm doing. So you're like a Bizarro Superman, you're like the Bizarro version of something that's happening, right? If I say water is wet, you say water is dry. Not because you believe water is probably even dry, it's because you don't want me to say water is wet. And I think that's a problem with going forward that hopefully this administration has to fix. Here's my son, guys. So hopefully going forward that this administration has to fix. Not that I want them to fix it, but it has to be fixed eventually, that these people, right or left of the political spectrum, have to realize we can't counter-protest things when we could just go out and protest what we believe in, right? We don't have to wait for BLM to march for George Floyd to say police lives matter. You could have done that in the spring. You could have done that in last year when 2 police officers were shot in in California, in Oakland. The 2 highway police officers, one was shot in the hand, one was shot in the neck, I believe. They could have been out there for that. They weren't, right? A lot of policemen get injured and hurt on the job every day, and you don't see a single Blue Lives Matter protest or anything for them, right? And I always tell my friends that's in law enforcement, I don't have a Blue Lives flag on my lawn. I don't have a Blue Lives sticker on my car, but I do support the police. You know how I support the police? Paying taxes and not committing crimes. Something their president, Trump, has not done since I've been born. For the last 30 years, Trump has not done any of those things. He's committed crimes and he doesn't pay taxes. But he supports the police more than someone that looks like me would, right? Think about that.